disconnect from our food source, trucking and shipping. Just a few days ago in our coffee shop, we ran out of half and half. And Caitlin, one of the, she's about 21, 22, she came up and she said, "Stan, somebody's got to go to the store." And I said, "How come? We ran out of half and half. Can't have a coffee shop and not have half and half." So I looked in the cooler and we had tons of milk and tons of whole cream. And so I looked at her and I said, "Caitlin, just make some." Can't make half and half. So the carton that way. And I could tell, I looked at her, that she really likes started thinking, are there half and half cows? So I said, "You gotta take half milk and half heavy cream." Right. She goes, "Oh." We don't grow our food. We're not close to our food. We're not close to the land. We're not close to the sea. Our fish comes from China, for heaven's sake. My granddaddy, not the Assembly of God pastoral one, but my other one, was a farmer. So my best childhood memories was getting in the truck with him and spending the day out on the farm. And it was not business to him. It was his heart. He was connected to the land. And when he touched the land, his heart and soul was connected to that food. When he would load up a hog or a cow into the truck, he was connected to them. I danced with the Lakota, and they sang, "Feel the mother under our feet. Hear her heart beat." But we climbed away from the land and our food and that deep connection that somehow nurtures and grounds our soul. Our lives are so intertwined with big corporations and institutions that have no heart and no soul. You are account number 2784389. And if you think you're any more than that, just call customer service. As people of enlightenment, people climbing Jacob's ladder, people of science, people of reason, we have climbed away from the lower chakras, the lower part of the body. Our ancestors that would sit on the ground. Our ancestors that would dance around the ceremonial fire. Our ancestors that felt the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter and the wetness of the rain and the chill of the wind. We've forgotten how to play and to dance and to create, to be generative. We moved up into the top part of the body. I was in San Francisco Bay Area, and I love jazz. And it's a wonderful jazz club in Jack London Square, which is right across the San Francisco Bay from the city. You can get on the ferry. It's a great ride. Here's some good jazz. And so I was there, and I went alone because I was out alone. And it was fabulous music. And I looked around the room, and no one was dancing. No one was clapping. Occasionally, you could see a head nod. And I thought to myself, good Lord. We have totally lost touch to our bodies, the lower part, the more tribal, ancient, primitive part. Now, you can find some places to dance. But guess what? It's really about something else. I won't give commentary. Then we moved up into the top part of the body. Watch the average person even breathe. It's rapid. It's up in the top part. Very fast vibrational rates. If you've ever done yoga or any meditation or any of those types of spiritual practices, what's the first thing that you're taught to do? Breathe. Go down to the bottom of the diaphragm, bottom of the lungs. We've lost darkness. I hate going. I sometimes have to go. But you know, you can go to Walmart, and when you're inside Walmart, it looks the same. It does not matter if it's 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 a.m., 2 p.m. It always looks the same. Now, I've never been. That would not be right. But I understand if you go to a casino, it's the same way.
No clocks.
No exits.
As part of my spiritual practice, I do quite a bit of backpacking and wilderness travel. And it's amazing how it takes about 3 or 4 days for the body's rhythm to renew and restore itself from the artificial environment that we create with electricity. First night, I'm usually a little afraid, to be honest, when it gets dark, when you're out, way far from anyone else, and it gets dark. And I realize I've gotten afraid of the dark. The rhythms have to be renewed and restored. Now, the psycho-spiritual application of this is much deeper than just our circadian rhythms and our sleep patterns. This very much connects to our enlightenment and the addiction, the addictive nature of modern culture. Because we no longer deeply feel, especially our hurts and our pains and our despair, we will quickly turn on the light or cover over and add something on top, or anesthetize ourselves with something so we no longer have to feel. When we take painkillers, what we're doing is we're shutting ourselves off from our soul, and I believe there's a direct connection to this sense that we've lost touch with darkness. Add on top to these corporate kind of issues that have wounded our souls. Add on top of this our own story, our own pain, our own hurts. Good Lord, anybody here go to public school? Then of course your soul has been wounded dearly. If your public school, if your school did not do it, then add on top of that your church. Anybody here been almost everybody that attends my parish are there because they got the hell beat out of them somewhere in the name of God. If it was not because they were divorced, or if it was not because that they sinned and messed up, or maybe because they were gay or lesbian, or whatever the issue was, somebody was right there ready to wound them. I'm not sure that there's a family that's not dysfunctional. If there is a family that says they're, so I'm getting my negatives all confused here, that says they're not dysfunctional, then we will pray for them. Your family structure, your experience, your life, some of the woundedness you may share responsibility in. Sometimes things just come out of nowhere and knock us off our feet. And we find ourselves at times against the wall. All of this compiled together and pressing in on us. Is there any reason that we're exhausted? You know, probably the number one thing I hear from my parishioners, I'm so tired, exhausted. And that can become a habit that we need to ensure that it's not becoming our habit, but we see a boredomness, a cosmic boredomness. St. Thomas Aquinas called that the sin of acedia. And acedia, to Aquinas, and he gets that through and from the Desert Fathers, but acedia was understood then to be the first sin of all sins. This couch potato-itis, where we're no longer alive. We're zombies. We're the walking dead. We've lost heart and soul. We've lost creativity. We become addicted. We find ourselves at times in despair, and we're depressed. If you realize, I know you do, the percentage of the population that are medicated, it is mind-blowing. And I'll tell you, it's most of the issue, it's not the self-medication that we're all pretty good at now and then. There's a physician quite ready to help you medicate yourself. And the sad part, to calm your child down. We're isolated in our suburban homes. The passing of the peace is a 5-second ritual. We're going through the motions.